wanted to just come online today. If you have any questions, you can drop the questions in the comments. Questions about personal finance, any questions that you have, whether it has to do with maybe your credit or you have debt that you need to pay and it's stressing you out and you're looking for like strategies of how to pay those debts or investing questions, just general questions that you may have. Generally, I want to answer those questions today. You can drop them in the chat and I will pick it up and try to answer your question. So this is like a wonderful time for you to get the opportunity to be coached financially for free. Yes, so that's what this is about. I did a video that I posted, I think, 3 days ago about many people who are just struggling. They feel like they're not getting ahead. Like it's difficult in this economy to get ahead financially. So I just thought, why not just come online and answer questions? Because one thing I've observed when it comes to financial challenges is that everyone has their unique situation. And so sometimes general solutions may not really work. General solutions, like just general recommendations, sometimes it requires actually looking through your finances, looking through your credit cards, how you spend them, looking at your income, what type of income you have. That helps in making like that decision. So general blanket solutions sometimes don't work. So this is one opportunity. When you jump online, you can drop your questions in the chat and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So probably let's say you're working so hard, but you feel like you're not getting ahead financially. Like I get that questions a lot now with so many people who are working hard, but you just feel like you're not getting ahead. The struggles are real, right? The struggles are real and it happens. You just realize I'm working so hard, I am putting my best, but I'm not getting ahead. Hi, yeah, hi, you're welcome. Yeah, today is just Q&A. I'm just out here answering questions. So if you have any questions about your finances, whether it be credit card questions or investing questions or just general questions, maybe you're stuck financially in any way or you're just overwhelmed financially, any questions you have, today is like I'm answering your questions for you. So you can just drop your questions in the chat and I'll pick it up and I'll break it up. One thing I was saying at the beginning is a lot of people are going through different financial challenges, and sometimes one solution may not fit everyone because we all have our personal life, we all have our unique situations, we all have our unique challenges, right? And one thing I've learned just working as a financial coach for over 10 years is the fact that people have unique issues and sometimes your questions are unique, and due to your unique questions I would have answers for you, right? So that's just it. Someone says, do you know how to tell real friends? Well, this is a financial literacy and financial education live podcast. So I'm answering questions more that has to do with finances, that has to do with how you manage your finances, or if you're in any financial trouble, or you're in any financial challenge, or you just need questions and guide on what to do. Having been in the financial services industry for over a decade, I've worked with so many people, just helping them, find financial clarity, direction. I've helped with many people just design like a roadmap to pay off debts. So that's why I'm just out here today answering questions. So if there's any questions you have, any questions about your finances, you need answers, you can just drop those questions in the chat and I would answer your questions. Yes, yes. So like I was saying when I started that if, for example, let's say you are just going through your journey, right, and you just feel like you're not getting ahead financially, right, you're trying and your best, but you're still not getting ahead financially. And then you're wondering. Sometimes people even work paycheck to paycheck, and despite working paycheck to paycheck, you just realize that you're working paycheck to paycheck, but then there's nothing really coming out of it. You sometimes you need direction, you need financial clarity to actually like look into your finances to see, where am I stuck, what am I not doing right, what are things I need to address that will move me from where I am to where I need to be. So these are some of the things that happen. And the truth is, many of us unknowingly, right, unknowingly are throwing away our hard-earned money. Yes, there are so many people unknowingly just throwing away your hard-earned cash on things that are a complete waste of money. And that happens a lot. And that's why I'm just here today to answer your financial questions. Like I said earlier, I've been in the financial services industry for over 10 years and helping people design financial roadmaps that would help them. Many come out of debt, many have financial clarity about where they should invest their money, or what they can do, right? So if you have any questions, you can just drop them in the chat and I'll be answering your questions. So I call this session your free, financial coaching session, right? This is like your free financial coaching session. So you can drop your questions in the chat and I'll go ahead and answer. This is 10:30 p.m. where I am right now. This is 10:30 p.m. I was about going to bed, but I was like, it's been a while. It's been a while I came on live to answer questions, and I really want to do that. Like I said earlier, the last video I posted, it had to do a lot about people who are struggling financially despite all that they are doing due to the very tough economic situation that we have right now in the country. So if you have any questions, you can just drop them in the chat. You can just drop them in the chat and I would go ahead and answer your questions like right away. One thing that I know also that I've observed a lot is how many people waste money. And that's one way that actually affects people. The how people waste money, right? Using your money to do things that end up just, I would say, puts you in a very, very tight space. For example, just think about how many people use their credit cards. Think about how many people use their credit card. Like, one wisdom I always would tell people is, if you have to buy something with a credit card, that means you don't have the money, right? But the secret about credit card and how you can use it wisely is, whatever you spend your credit card on, ensure that you're going to pay that total amount at the end of that credit cycle. So let's say, for example, you see, let's say, a new phone and you desire to buy that phone, right? What do you do? You even if you're going to use your credit card to buy the phone, be ready to pay back the whole money. Yes, be ready to pay back the whole money at the end of that credit cycle. So usually, to make it simple, be ready to pay back the money at the end of the month. It's so important. So, but a lot of times, someone sees a phone or someone sees something that they like and they immediately want to buy it. You want to buy it. And then you're like, yes, I don't have the money, but I have a credit card that has let's say 5,000 credit limit. And then you use that credit card and then you buy the phone. But then what happens? What happens if you don't pay the 2,000 at the end of the credit cycle? A minimum 20% interest rate is on that balance. And then every month you're paying that interest until you pay off the whole 2,000. But if you were able to pay that 20,000 at the end of the month, you don't have to incur $2,000. You don't have to incur that interest on that money. So see that these are some of the mistakes that people make financially that just affects many. So sometimes someone is like, I'm working so hard, I'm doing so much, but I'm not seeing anything. I can't see my money. I can't see my money. Sometimes the problem is you're wasting your money. Can you see that? There are many money wasters today that are holding many people back from building wealth. Many money wasters, I tell you. And credit card is one of them. So, like I said earlier, if you have any questions, don't hesitate. Drop your questions in the comments. I would answer your question. If you have any financial questions or you have any addition, you can just drop it in the comments and I would go ahead and answer your question. So, another thing I've observed also is subscriptions. Subscription. I say that I think I had a video where I talked about subscription. Yes. Yes, it's a subscription trap. You would see people with a lot of subscriptions. They've even forgotten. They've completely forgotten that they had those subscriptions. And then you have subscriptions going out of your accounts every month. $30 here, $10 here, $5 here. Put them all together. Maybe you have $100 in subscription that go out of your account every month and you've completely forgotten about it. Like you've completely forgotten about the subscriptions. And it happens to a lot of people. And that's why I say subscription is what they call it's a trap. It's a trap. So it's so important that you look into these subscriptions. Some of these subscriptions are streaming services, some are monthly gym memberships, some people even have monthly boxes of meals. So many things. And apart from the fact that you forget subscriptions, people also have what they call multiple subscriptions that they don't use. Multiple. So these are money wasters. These are money wasters. Like I said earlier, if you have any questions, you can drop your financial questions in the comment and I'm ready to answer your questions. So these are all money wasters. Subscriptions. You need to look into your subscriptions. Look into your subscriptions. Sometimes these things are small, but guess what? They add up. They add up. They add up. That's it. It's a scary thing. So you have to be careful. Another thing that I tell people that is a money waster also is designer brands. Designer brands are great money wasters. Oh my goodness. Designer brands are great money wasters because sometimes you're like, oh, I must wear Louis Vuitton. Oh, I have to wear Armani or Versace, all those names. And you're like, I just have to wear them. And sometimes they are expensive, not necessarily because of the value that they provide. They are just expensive without providing any value. So can you see? So these are some of the ways that people waste money, and you're wondering, why am I living paycheck to paycheck? Why is my money not enough? But these are some of the loopholes. Loopholes where you're losing this money, loopholes where you're losing this money and you don't know. Can I tell you another very, very, very important loophole where people lose money? It is food delivery services. Food delivery. When you look at the delivery fee on top of the food you're ordering, you realize that, oh my goodness. I remembered I was coaching a particular lady and we're doing what we call dissecting your expenses. So I do this thing where I call dissecting your expenses and I go through all your expenses over a period of 2 months. And she looked at how much she spent ordering food. She was even ashamed. You can try it. You can try it. You can even just try and look at it. If you're someone that orders food, just try it. Try it. Just go into your account and search for the next 1 month how much you spend, right? How much you spend, right? Ordering meals. Just do a 1 month research of how much you spend ordering meals. You'll be shocked. She was so shocked and she was like, oh my goodness, I need to stop ordering food and start cooking more at home. And so these are ways people waste money. So sometimes you're wondering, what is happening? Why am I living paycheck to paycheck? Why am I struggling? Why is my money not enough? These are the different loopholes where you lose money. So like I said earlier, if you have any questions, drop it in the chat and I would answer your questions right away. So these are things you really need to look at. This food delivery, ordering food. Sometimes you just need to cook at home and cut that cost. It's a hidden cost, and it can significantly affect your money. it can, and the interesting thing, there was an article I read where a lot of Gen Zs, where they talked about how that a lot of Gen Zs order their meals, and it's really, really affecting them significantly. Really, so you need to really look at it. Another thing I also feel also affects people, is also car payments. I feel a lot that car payment is a prison. And the reason why I feel car payment is a prison is, when you're buying a car, right? You buy, let's say, a car that worth, let's say, $30,000. You also need an insurance for that car. So a lot of times you have a monthly payment of, let's say, 600. You have an insurance of, let's say, 400. So just buying that car on credit, including insurance, you have a $1,000 monthly bill. And then you ask yourself, how much is my income? How much is my income? How much is my income? But I have this large monthly bill. How much is my income? So car payments is a terrible prison. And then you're stuck with this payment for the next 5 years, depending on the term of that car loan. Sincerely, it's a big challenge. So that's why it's even better, right? That you pay maybe almost 70% of that car, get a car you can afford, pay 70% of that car as a down payment. So you have very little to pay, and then you have a short term, maybe 2 years, and then you're done paying the car. Because sometimes things even happen. Things happen whereby someone has an accident, and then maybe the car is totaled, and then you have this big loan on your head. And the interesting thing, we know what a car is. A car is a depreciating asset. So the moment you drive that car from the lots, the car loses value. But then you have this $1,000 bill right there on your head to pay for the next 5 or 6 years, depending on the term of the loan. So I'm just here just trying to help you think through your choices. Think to your choices while you're struggling financially. You just see yourself living paycheck to paycheck sometimes. Your money is tight, the money is not enough. These are different loopholes where people are losing money. They're just losing money. You can drop your questions in the comment, like I said. If you have any financial questions, you can just drop it in the comments. Like I said earlier, I've been in the financial services industry for over 10 years, just helping people find financial clarity, just helping people see how different ways in which they can actually cut down debt, different ways they can, meet their financial goals, find financial clarity. So if you have any question, this is your opportunity. Just drop it in the comment and I would answer your question. Another very important thing that I've seen also that just affects people is just impulsive buying. And impulsive buying, you just go to a place, you see things and you just want to buy it. That happens a lot. You're in a store, you plan to buy ABC, but the next thing you're buying CDEF. You plan to buy just, let's say you plan to buy just one thing, and then before you know it, you're coming out of the store with 3 things, with 7 things, with much more than what you planned to buy. That happens a lot. And a lot of times you would think that this is so little, but they all build up. They all build up. The small, seemingly insignificant impulse buys, they add up. They add up to a shocking amount, and it's wasted money. It's wasted money. So you need to think. You need to think. I was even telling a friend the other day that even extended warranties, sometimes extended warranties, I think they are scams. Yes, extended warranties. I was telling a friend, because these are all extra money, and they all build up. And they all build up. There are some warranties that are good, but there are some that are just a waste of your money. A waste of your money. So, so these are just some of the few points that I just felt I wanted to just highlight, that makes life a little bit difficult, that makes people struggle financially. You're just struggling. Your money is not enough. Your money is not enough. you're just struggling. Another thing that is even so common is gym membership. Because of the hype these days, everybody wants to be fit, everybody wants to, show that they are healthy and fit. A lot of people would subscribe to gym and they would never use it. And then every month they're paying they're paying for this gym membership, but they are not using it. They are not using it. I know that a lot of times when many people actually like sign up for the gym membership, you have all the best you have all the best intentions. Your plan is yes, 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 yes. Yes, you have all the best intention, but then a lot of times what happened, people are just paying this gym membership and they don't use it. So these are just ways, you're throwing money away, you know throwing money away every month, and you feel drained. Another thing that I was even thinking about recently also is also gambling. I don't know if you has anybody here ever gambled. You can drop it in the comments if you've ever gambled before. You can drop it. That's another way people waste money. I know that yes, people win, but how many people win, right? So there are people that just keep investing and gambling again and again and again, right? But then nothing. It's just a waste of money, right? I don't know if any of you have gambled before. So you can see, and that's another way people lose money. You're just losing money. The odds, I always say that the odds of winning, oh my goodness, the odds of winning is very low. It's so low. It's so low. It's so low. Like, how many people really win? Very few. Yeah, so I it's still open. If you have any questions, financial questions, like I said earlier, I've been in the financial services industry for over 10 years, like I said earlier, just helping people solve financial problems, designing financial roadmaps. So if you have any questions that you want me to answer, whether it be questions that has to do with your credit or investing or just planning financially, or you're looking for financial clarity due to the ambiguity of your life right now, you can just drop your question in the comments. I'm just here to answer your questions, so you can go ahead and drop it, right? So yes, like I said, sometimes we're struggling financially, life seems tight, it looks like a struggle, and the reason is there are so many loopholes around your life that you need to close. It's the truth. It's the truth. If you're listening to me, sometimes there are so many loopholes that needs to close. And until you close those loopholes, it may continue to look very tight. And lastly, I would add is get knowledge. Financial knowledge is so important. Like, you can go through my videos. I have a lot of topics that I've covered, different financial topics I've covered over the I think a year or two now that I've been consistent posting videos. I've covered some topics. You can go and look at those topics and learn something. There are so many other well-established YouTubers who are doing so great in the personal finance space, doing so great, talking about great financial topics. Follow them and learn. There's so much, as in, I feel like we're living in a time and season where information is out there if you're ready to seek it. Like you can't be stranded. Like, even if you are unable to ask me any question today, right? Let's say but there's just so much out there. So finally, just ensure you get educated. With knowledge, you can never go wrong, because you will always make informed decision. You will always make informed decision. One thing I would add also today is the fact that when it comes to making financial decisions, especially when it comes to big expenses, right? Always try to run it by other people. Like, run it by one or two people that you feel are well informed, or do your own research. Do your own research, because that's another way people lose money. I remembered a few months ago there was this scam that went viral where a lot of people lose money. Probably you know about it. LSSC scam that happened a while ago. I don't know if any of you are aware. You can drop in the comments if you know about the LSSC scam. That went viral all over YouTube, online. People were talking about it. People lost a lot of money. I don't know if you knew you read about it, or you also know about it. And it was, imagine if some of those people, maybe checked in on a few people or did a little bit of research, they would have discovered that, wait, this is not real, right? But they didn't. And look at what happened. right? So that's just it. But if you still have questions and you were not comfortable dropping your questions in the chat, maybe because you just felt you're not comfortable to, talk about your challenges, you can reach out to me personally. You can reach out to me via my email. You can reach out to me via my link. There's a link on my page that will take you directly to my website where you can actually schedule an appointment, and then we can have like a one-on-one where I answer your questions and what your challenges are. I'm open to do that also. But if you still have questions, I still have a few minutes. I still have 5 minutes. My goal was to have this live for 30 minutes, so I still have 5 minutes. So if you have any questions still, you can go ahead and drop it in the chat, and then I can answer your questions. Right? Yes, of course, we know that. Yes, it's not easy, right? It's not easy. Life can be challenging, life can be difficult, but I feel like with a lot of intentionality, a lot of planning, a lot of diligence, you can actually achieve your financial goals. You can actually pay off those debts. Yes, you can actually pay off those debts. You can be financially free. It's possible. It's possible. It just takes consistency, discipline. Oh my goodness, discipline, diligence, asking questions where you need to. Yes, where you need to. Don't just think, oh, I can do it. I can do it on my own. Sometimes you need to ask questions. You need to have clarity. When you stand on the shoulders of well-informed people, you would not make the mistakes that they made. Like, for example, I have made many mistakes. I'm not just coaching people or teaching people just based on head knowledge. There's also experiential knowledge. So when you ask questions, you are able to not go through what you would have gone through if you had asked questions. So sometimes it's important you ask questions. You learn from people that have gone through the things that you're trying to do, so you can take informed decision, not just on your own, you know. Yes. I don't know if anybody still has any questions, but thank you so much for just joining and stopping by. Anybody has any questions? Do you have any questions? You can drop it in the comments. I'm rounding up now, but thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for just listening. Thank you. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening or night or day, whichever part of the country you're watching from. Take care. Bye. Take care.